to another episode of Jacksnax. Today we're going to talk about Mississippi half-step Uptown Toodeloo by the Grateful Dead. So before we get into the solo stuff, we've got to figure out what we're playing over so that you're not just hamstrung and only playing whatever I teach you today, okay? So the chords start out over an A minor, then an A minor major 7, okay, then an A minor 7, and then some will play A minor 6, or some will play D. Then F, D minor, B7, and then E7, and then again, F, A minor, D7, G, and then back to the chord progression for the verse. That's the lick, right? So it's open 1, 4 on the E, okay? And then we're going to break into our typical kind of shape with our diminished scale. Okay? So those are minor thirds apart. And now we're at this G sharp note. And so we're gearing up to play over this A minor chord. So one of the tricks that I like to do is these approach tones from one below, a half step, connected to each chord tone. So I took the first idea of this diminished sound, the F diminished, and then grafted it onto 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the lick, right? Okay, we've made our way up to this A minor sound, okay, from this E7. All right, and now we're about to play over this. Now, these major minor chords are very, very fun to play over. All right, that's... right? That's a harmonic minor scale, okay? It's really a lovely sound to use opposite these major minor chords, okay? A lot of people, they don't know what to do with this. How is it major and minor? It's got a major 7, but a minor 3rd, okay? Okay, and so we're taking that chord and transitioning to a minor 7. So the lick is... That's it. So on our walk down, we need to arpeggiate A minor with G sharps instead of G natural, right? So it's going to be your A minor scale, but rather than having a flat 7, we're going to add this major 7 or whatever. You know, it's the true 7 that we would use in the... We're going to use that 7th, but use the rest of the scale is going to be minor, okay? So if you're not familiar with harmonic minor, here's a good introduction to it, okay? So we're coming out of that E chord. And you'll notice that we're using a lot of G sharp there, and then on our way down, right, we end up going down to that G, okay? Because the next chord after it, right, has that G in the bass, all right? Okay, that's our next little chunk. So if we've done So we're going, we're bending up to that D. So that's on the D and G strings, okay? So we're chromatically coming up from this B note and pivoting back to the A note. And then we trill back. You could bend up. Okay, I think I bend with this finger. Either way, as you drag your hand back, you should sound some notes and create that rhythmic, you know? Okay, and we're going to resolve to that F sharp note, because that's the F sharp over the, that's the sixth of the A minor 6 chord we're soloing over at the time. So that's our next lick, okay? And that's over the F chord. Okay, F chord to D minor. That's the change that we're making. Now the good news is, as a soloist, you can kind of just think of that as one scale that you're playing over, okay? And I'm just playing straight F major or straight D minor, okay? So that's, we're gonna approach the root. We're going to avoid the minor third in this octave. We're going to come up to that 9 and do this little trill thing, which is a really nice little touch because we keep putting the 9 over top of it. So over the F, that sounds like the major 7, and over the D, it sounds like the 9th. Okay, so it's kind of a, it's nice, and then we've got this little bit of tension. Okay. Slide back, I guess, okay? So we're gonna come up, remember, it's a shuffle. That's the first lick, all right? And if you look carefully, this is a B7. 3, 5, flat 7. There's that C. So we're going to create that. That's the chord we're arpeggiating over top of. So it's kind of a chord sub, okay? So this is another voicing of it. Now the interesting thing about those diminished chords is they're built on minor thirds. So it's a symmetrically voiced chord: minor third, minor third, minor third, minor third, minor third. So any lick that you're playing that works as an arpeggio of that diminished sound, if you transpose it up a minor third, you're just inverting it. And there we are, right where we started. Okay, so don't get too hung up on it. Like basically what we're doing is saying, that's not just a B7 chord. We're gonna call it a B7 with a flat 2. That's the C, okay? And then we're gonna call the E chord as well. We're gonna call that kind of an E7 chord. So it's an E7 with an F. Okay, so there you go. So watch this, okay? We just finished playing the F, D, that's over the B chord, right? Right, and that's just sequential. Now look at the right hand picking. That can get a little, there's a lot of, if I'm not mistaken. So there's pick, down, down, up. You know me, I'm all about that economy stuff. So if we so there's that little slide, then you've got time to think, right? Sorry, it's right, see how we pick, slide. That's the whole diminished arpeggio. It's just 4 notes. And we just played over the B chord. And now over the E. and resolve up to our A. Now, let's look at this. There's all these wonderful symmetrical patterns that happen this way, horizontally up the neck with diminished sounds, right? That's what we were just exploiting there. This little shape. That kind of looks like an F7 shape, right? Then we're going to slide that up and looks like an A flat shape. Until we slide it up again, looks like a B shape, D shape, and finally we repeat. So that's the horizontal nature of the symmetry. The cool thing is there's also a vertical symmetry that happens. If you look at this shape, 1, 3, 5, okay, and then take that same shape and bring it down to the D note, you end up with a symmetrical fingering that creates a diminished sound over the E chord. So if we were to take our diminished sound, see, there's our E7. There's that shape, okay? So if we take the E7 part, and then go like that, same little shape. Okay, now once we're here, we already know that that can be slid up. So that can go. Now rather than going 3 frets up and then another 3 frets up, which is where it starts to get very predictable, if you skip that middle one and just go 6 frets up, it sounds significantly less formulaic. So if we did, right, how I see how I skipped that one in the middle here? I think that's the timing I did on that, right? Okay, so it seems like a lot, but it's just this shape, the same shape, the same shape. So, and now we just have to remember this little walk up. Now remember, the diminished scale, there's a minor third there. That's the diminished sound that we're looking for, is those minor thirds. Oh, sorry. Right? A lot of people, they get lost in this stuff, and it's understandable because, you know, it's like, whoa, what's happening? But so there's the diminished sound, and then we know we're playing an E. So that's the diminished sound, and we're playing over an E chord, so we know the E is a safe tone. Right? That's the sound, that's the scale. And then we're resolving into the chord. We're targeting that to come up into back to our home chord, okay? So that was playing over top of B. Back to. Okay, so B7 to E7 is B. E. Okay. Congratulations, my friends. You've made it halfway through the solo, and the second half is deeply connected to the first half. So this information is going to feel similar harmonically. Okay, we're going to start again playing A minor major 7, A minor 7, and then F sharp with an A minor triad over top of it. Okay, so that's what we just played over on our way to an F chord. Okay, that's what we're targeting. So we're going to walk down chromatically somewhere within our lines, and I've chosen up here. Okay, so we worked our way up with that diminished idea, begging to go right there. So that's where we go. We go start here on the high E at the 17th fret, right? Tag it. Boom. So that's 15, 12, 13, 14, 17, 12, 13, 14. come back, and then slide up from G sharp. And now we're playing over the major minor chord, right? Minor third, major 7, minor third, major 7, fifth root, right? Okay, so that's staccato on the G sharp, then trill 4 notes, pivot to B, upstroke, and then downstroke on E at the 12th. Okay, so that's a C arpeggio, or A minor 7, right? So see how it's connected? It could be an A or a C shape depending on what's in the root, right? The cool thing about every time you learn a major arpeggio, you're in fact learning a major and its relative minor. So it's important to clock and catalog that, oh, I just learned a lick in G. Well, you also learned a lick in E minor. So, you know, if it was straight G major, then you learned one in straight E minor, okay? So anyway. Okay, so going 12, 13, 12, and then middle finger comes to 13 on the D string, and we come up into the E note. All right, and we form what looks like a fragment of an A minor 7 chord, or a fragment of a C chord. Just depends on what's in the root, right? Wrong song. Anyway, so we come up there, right? Chromatically walk down from C to A on the B string. So I start that line with my middle finger and then finish it with my index finger going like that, and it's kind of a pain. Okay. Those are the accents, okay? So that last little bit, we chromatically walk down. That's very much a D7 interpretation of whatever chord the bass player is playing here. If they're doing that, it doesn't matter. I still would have played that, because that just sounds like a D7 add 9 chord with a 5 in the bass, or it could be an A minor 6. And again, just like our C major and A minor are deeply connected, well, so is A minor 6, basically just a D7 chord. So that's what I treated it as. Now put those accents on those important spots. So that's an accent on that C. Accent on the F sharp, okay? So either way, we're accenting those 2 notes, okay? So that's the tritone at the core of our D7 chord, okay? Or it would be the minor 3rd and the color tone, that 6th that we're shooting for in our A minor 6 chord. Either way, those 2 notes are super important, okay? And we're gonna chromatically walk up from F sharp to A. And that A is not our new root. We're not going to an A chord. We're actually going to an F chord. So that's the 3rd of our F chord. Okay, so. Okay. And now we're over F. Okay, this is a pretty quick and easy line that happens over the F, okay? We've been doing a lot of arpeggiating, so sometimes it's important to not just have this endless barrage, this vomitous output of notes, like just constantly arpeggiating something in 16th notes or 8th notes. Sometimes it's important to actually kind of groove a little bit more, and that was my intention here, is to break that flow so that I could end actually with more of the notey stuff. So we just played that you know. So we're up to that A note over the F chord, right? Okay. So I'm going deliberately to that note, okay? up until this point, I've been implying E's over that F chord, but this time I decided to go kind of bluesy and give it a flat 5. So, okay, that's over the F chord. That is not what's being played in the harmony by any guitar player or piano player. I guarantee there's no F7s being played, but chances are there's just a straight F chord being played. So you can get away with it, or if somebody's actually playing, nobody's gonna be playing an F major 7 there, I don't think. So if you want to be more inside, you could bend all the way up and grab the E. I like the F, the E flat rather. Right, then slide up to the E, tag the G, and then tag the C, which is the chord you're playing over. Right, so. And there, we're going to end on that C. All right, that's our last lick, okay? And that's taking place over a D7 chord to G7 chord, moving back to our C, okay? So we just played, that's the C chord. Now we're on our way to D. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's playing into the G chord. That's the downbeat of the G, right? And that's our C. So we keep doing these approach notes chromatically into a chord tone, right? Into the D, okay? Into the G, into the C. This one, we did these into the third of our C, right? The D we did up to the root. Okay? So, D chord. That's 10, 11, 12 on the D, 11 G, 10 A, 10 B, sorry, A note. Upstroke on that C. And then we come back with 3 downstrokes in a row. Coming up, grabbing that F sharp, 14th fret on the high E. Third of the chord, chromatically down to the second. Okay, and then finally to the root, we skip the flat 2. Okay, and then I want you to pivot your pinky, not your pinky, your index finger over here and go. Right, that's kind of the tough bit. So chromatically, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, trill. Okay, triplet trill on that 2 to flat 3. And that's that same move that I did. So that's the same kind of thing where I do see how I rotate my hand in the time that it takes for my left hand to do those, instead of going, that would be very hard to do by going, it feels very fluid and you can get a lot of like momentum and snap on it. So that's what I'm doing there, okay? So, and I think I chromatically walk up with just the, okay? And we come up into the third of our C chord and then pin that cherry on top. That's the root, okay? So, well, friends, that's going to wrap up today's awesome marathon lesson on Mississippi Half Step Uptown Toodeloo by the Grateful Dead. Hope you guys had fun. If you did, please share, like, and subscribe this lesson with all your friends. And I hope to see you around soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye.